Life on Earth has a long and complex history, spanning billions of years. The earliest life forms were microscopic single-celled organisms that existed in a very different world than the one we know today. Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, we'll be taking a step back in time, traveling through the various geological periods and learning about the flora and fauna that once roamed this planet. But first, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel and enable the notification bell so you can see more interesting videos like this. So sit back, relax, and let's take a journey through time. The Earth's atmosphere was devoid of oxygen and rich in methane, and the planet was constantly bombarded by the intense radiation from the sun. Despite these harsh conditions, life managed to emerge and thrive. The first signs of life on Earth come from rocks that are over 3.7 billion years old. These rocks contain traces of carbon molecules that are only produced by living organisms. This suggests that life had already begun to evolve on Earth at this time. The earliest life forms were probably simple bacteria-like organisms that lived in the oceans. These microbes were able to extract energy from the rich soup of organic molecules that existed in the early Earth's oceans. They may have used a variety of different metabolic pathways to generate energy, including photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. Over time, these early microbes began to evolve and diversify. They developed new strategies for survival and reproduction, and they began to interact with each other in complex ways. Some formed symbiotic relationships, while others competed for resources. One of the most significant developments in the evolution of life on Earth was the emergence of oxygen-producing photosynthesis. This process allowed certain microbes to convert sunlight into energy, while also releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. Over time, this led to the buildup of oxygen in the atmosphere and the creation of the ozone layer, which protects the Earth from harmful UV radiation. As life continued to evolve and diversify, it began to have a profound impact on the planet itself. Microbes helped to shape the Earth's atmosphere and oceans, and they played a crucial role in the development of complex ecosystems. Today, we can still see evidence of Earth's earliest life forms in the form of stromatolites. These structures are created by sticky mats of microbes that trap and bind sediments into layers. Over time, minerals precipitate inside the layers, creating durable structures that can be preserved in the fossil record. Studying stromatolites and other ancient fossils can give us a glimpse into the early evolution of life on Earth. Oxygen atmosphere. The Great Oxidation Event, which occurred around 2.4 billion years ago, was a pivotal moment in the history of life on Earth. It marked the beginning of a dramatic rise in atmospheric oxygen levels, which had far-reaching effects on the planet's ecosystems and the evolution of life itself. The main driver of this event was the emergence of cyanobacteria, which were the first organisms to perform oxygen-producing photosynthesis. This process involves using the energy of sunlight to split water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen is then released into the atmosphere, where it reacts with other chemicals and begins to build up over time. As the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere increased, it had a profound impact on the Earth's ecosystems. Many microbes that were unable to tolerate oxygen were driven to extinction, while other organisms evolved new strategies for coping with the new atmospheric conditions. However, it took many millions of years for oxygen levels to stabilize at levels that were suitable for most life forms. As cyanobacteria died and their bodies decomposed, the oxygen they released would have been consumed by other organisms, leading to fluctuations in atmospheric oxygen levels. Multicellular life. The evolution of complex, multicellular organisms from simple microbes was a gradual process that took billions of years. It involved a series of innovations, including the development of specialized cells and the emergence of cooperative behavior among cells. One of the most significant innovations was the evolution of eukaryotic cells, which have a nucleus and other specialized organelles. These cells are thought to have arisen from a process called endosymbiosis, in which one microbe begins to live inside another. Over time, the two microbes become mutually dependent, with the inner microbe providing some essential function for the outer microbe. This process led to the evolution of mitochondria, which are organelles that produce energy for the cell. Mitochondria are thought to have originally been free-living bacteria that were engulfed by other cells. Over time, the two organisms became so dependent on each other that they evolved into a single complex cell. Another important innovation was the development of cell specialization. In multicellular organisms, cells are organized into tissues and organs, each with a specific function. This specialization allows cells to work together to support the needs of the whole organism. The evolution of multicellular organisms also involved the emergence of cooperative behavior among cells. In some cases, cells began to live together in colonies, forming structures such as slime molds and sponges. These groups of cells could work together to feed more efficiently, protect themselves from predators, and reproduce more successfully. Overall, the evolution of complex, multicellular organisms was a slow and gradual process that involved a series of innovations and adaptations. It was driven by the need for cells to work together to survive and thrive in an ever-changing environment. The first animals. Sponges may seem simple compared to other animals, but they are incredibly diverse. There are over 8,000 species of sponges that range in size from less than a centimeter to over 2 meters in diameter. They can be found in almost every aquatic environment, from shallow coral reefs to the deep sea. Sponges are also incredibly important for the health of marine ecosystems. They provide habitat and shelter for many other species, and they play a critical role in filtering water and removing excess nutrients. Some species of sponges have been found to remove up to 90% of bacteria from the water. One area of research is the symbiotic relationships that sponges have with other organisms. Many sponges have bacteria living inside them that help with digestion and provide other benefits. These bacteria are also a rich source of natural products that have potential applications in medicine and other fields. Another area of research is the evolution of the complex body plans that are found in animals. Sponges represent an early step in this process, and studying them can help us understand how more complex animals evolved. Overall, sponges are an important and fascinating group of animals that have played a key role in shaping marine ecosystems and the evolution of complex life on Earth. While there is still much to learn about these organisms, they hold great promise for future discoveries and applications. Ediacaran biota. During the Ediacaran period, which started around 580 million years ago, a variety of creatures appeared on the seafloor alongside sponges. These creatures had diverse body plans, ranging from fronds to quilts, and lived alongside sponges for 80 million years. Fossil evidence of these creatures can be found in sedimentary rocks around the world. However, the body plans of most of these Ediacaran creatures were quite different from modern groups of animals. Using comparative developmental evidence, Smithsonian's Dr. Douglas Irwin has studied the fossilized Ediacaran animals to see if any of them were related to modern animals. Towards the end of the Ediacaran period, oxygen levels in the ocean began to rise, approaching levels that were sufficient to support oxygen-based life. Interestingly, the early sponges may have played a role in boosting oxygen levels. They likely helped increase oxygen levels by consuming bacteria, which would have otherwise contributed to the decomposition process. The tracks left by an organism called Dickinsonia costata suggest that it may have moved along the seafloor while feasting on mats of microbes. The end Ediacaran extinction. These early burrowing animals, such as the trace fossil Treptichnus pedum, were the first to churn up the seafloor and create an entirely new habitat. By mixing up the sediment, they aerated the water and provided a fresh source of nutrients. They may have also played a role in stabilizing the seafloor and preventing the buildup of toxic chemicals. The rise of burrowing animals may have been facilitated by a rise in oxygen levels, which would have allowed them to metabolize their food. As burrowing animals diversified, they began to compete with and displace the Ediacaran fauna, whose passive lifestyles made them vulnerable to environmental change. Another factor that may have contributed to the shift from the Ediacaran to the Cambrian period was the evolution of predation. The appearance of complex eyes and other sensory structures allowed animals to actively hunt for food, putting pressure on prey species to evolve new defense mechanisms. This may have driven the evolution of shells and spines in many animals, as well as the development of more sophisticated ways to escape from predators. The transition from the Ediacaran to the Cambrian was a pivotal moment in the evolution of life on Earth. It marked the emergence of the first true animals and the beginning of an explosive period of diversification and innovation that would ultimately lead to the incredible diversity of life that we see today. The Cambrian explosion. During the Cambrian period, there was a surge in the diversity of life forms. The appearance of hard body parts, such as shells and spines, allowed animals to engineer their environments more drastically, which included burrowing lifestyles. A shift towards more active animals with defined heads and tails for directional movement also occurred. The feeding styles of these well-armored animals partitioned the environment and allowed for the diversification of life. The discovery of Burgess Shale fossils in 1909 revealed the unprecedented biodiversity of Cambrian life. The evolution of many of these organisms was experimental, while others, such as trilobites, thrived and dominated Earth for hundreds of millions of years before becoming extinct. The decline of stromatolite reef-building bacteria and the emergence of brachiopod-built reefs were further changes that occurred during this period. The dominant reef builders of today, hard corals, did not emerge until hundreds of millions of years later. The Cambrian period was a time of rapid diversification and experimentation in animal life, resulting in the establishment of many of the major animal phyla that still exist today. As these animals evolved new feeding strategies and environmental engineering techniques, they created the foundation for complex ecosystems. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with us. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Also, don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comment section below. We love hearing from our viewers and appreciate your feedback. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.